Hello, good day everyone. So for today we will discuss about the part 2 of market integration. And for today we are going to tackle the role of international financial institutions or systems and the history of global market integration, and lastly the attributes of global corporations. So first we have the role of international financial institution in the creation of global economy, and we have the Bretton Woods system. So the Bretton Woods system arose as a result of a compromise between the rival ideologies of U.S. Treasury Secretary Harry Dexter White and the British Prime Minister Lord Keynes. So everyone agreed that the interwar period had taught them several lessons, and they were determined not to make the same mistakes again. And the difficulties of reconstruction following the World War I influenced the British and American officials to begin planning for post-war monetary reconstruction. And they saw the need to develop rules and understanding to guide the national policies in the aftermath of the war in order to facilitate the achievement of common goals. So, as the two pillars of the new international financial system, the IMF and the World Bank, were established. Okay, so the Bretton Woods Agreement was reached at the summit in USA during 1944. So there are 730 delegates from 44 allied nations. It includes the United States, Canada, Western European countries, Australia, Japan, and of course, our country, the Philippines. So these countries attended the summit and reached an agreement. So the gold standard was used by the delegates to establish a fixed currency exchange rate as part of the agreement. So here is the International Monetary Fund website, or the IMF website. And we can see here about the IMF. So when you scroll down here, okay, so it tackles the globalization, wherein the title is Globalization, a Framework for IMF Involvement. Okay, so you can visit this website, or you can just search in Google the International Monetary Fund website. So globalization, there you go. And of course, the role of the Bretton Woods institutions, as we have discussed previously. And okay, so you can also see here the IMF has implemented many reforms. Okay, that includes becoming open and transparent organization, strengthen economic governance, and safeguard stability and integrity of the international financial system as a global public good. And scroll down here. Okay, there you go. The encouraging through national ownership of reforms. And lastly, the IMF is an institution ready to listen and learn, and not just from its member governments. Okay, it recognizes and values the role of civil society organizations. Okay, so it also discusses safeguarding the international financial system, providing help for self-help. So you can also see here some research. And as you can see, for today we are experiencing the global pandemic. And you can see some research studies here. For example, we have the World Economic Outlook April 2021 growth projections that projects the global economy, advanced economies, and emerging markets and developing economies. Okay, and okay, there you go. Other publications, IMF researchers. Okay, glowing. Okay, scroll down. There you go. of course, here the countries. We can see here the IMF is an organization of 190 countries, key working to foster global monetary cooperation, secure financial stability, facilitate international trade, promote high employment and sustainable economic growth, and reduce poverty around the world. So we have the 190 countries here. Let's find the Philippines. Let's see. Of course, there you go. Here you are. Okay, and of course, there you go. The United States, Vietnam, other Asian countries here. Okay, there you go. Right, let's see. Let's visit others. Okay, let's go to let's go to COVID-19. Okay. So there you go. So this website is very helpful and you can visit this if you want to learn more about the activities, the programs and projects of the IMF. Now let's go to the World Bank. Okay, see, so you can see here the website of the World Bank. And okay, for the World Bank, you can actually visit this site to see what they do and a lot of information and updates. Okay, let's see. So we can see here who we are, what we do, where we work, understanding poverty. Okay, and information about the COVID-19 as well. So about the World Bank, okay, overview, let's see. Okay, what we do. The World Bank Group works in every major area of development. We provide a wide array of financial products and technical assistance, and we help countries share and apply innovative knowledge and solutions to the challenges they face. Let's see the development projects. Okay. There you go, we can search actually here. Okay, so since 1947, the World Bank has funded over 12,000 development projects via traditional loans, interest-free credits, and grants. Okay, so scroll down, you can see a lot of information. Now let's see. Okay, so here are the country groups. You can also see European Union, Middle Income Countries, Organization of Eastern Caribbean States, Pacific Islands, Small States, Gulf Cooperation Council, and Western Europe. Okay, see. Alright. Now let's see, understanding poverty. We have here data and research development topics. We have climate change, education, energy, such that. Okay, poverty and urban development. Okay, let's visit the area for the COVID-19. So this is what we have saw a while ago, the World Bank's group's response to the COVID-19 pandemic. Okay, all right, now let's proceed to another financial institution. We have the GATT. General Agreement on Tariffs and Trade is the international agency no longer exists. So it has now been replaced by the World Trade Organization. Okay, so that's why the World Trade Organization was established in 1994 under the umbrella of UN Economic and Social Council during the Uruguay rounds, a multi-year round of negotiations dedicated to addressing a crisis of the declining GATT, okay, 1947. So there you go, made up of three principal organs: Ministerial Conference, General Council, and the Secretariat. Okay, so it provides a dispute settlement body that has settled over 350 cases to date, as well as a trade policy review. Okay, so for more general information on the WTO, you click here. For the GATT, click here. Okay. Alright, let's try to go to another financial institution. We have the OECD, or the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development. So the most encompassing club of the richest countries in the world is the OECD. It is known as uh, again the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, with 38 member states as of 2016. Okay, right. Let's see. Let's visit. Okay, so you can see their tagline: together we create better policies for better lives. Okay, who we are. The Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development is an international organization that works to build better policies for better lives. Our goal is to shape policies that foster prosperity, equality, opportunity, and well-being for all. We draw on 60 years of experience and insights to better prepare the world of tomorrow. Okay, global reach. Okay, the OECD is at the heart of international cooperation. Our member countries work with other countries, organizations, and stakeholders wide to address the pressing policy changes of our time. Okay, so what we do, shape better lives. Okay, let's go upward again. Okay, the member countries. Okay, there's a lot. Okay, from A to C, there you go. Let's try to find on the Philippines here. Okay, there you go. Here you are. Okay, let's see data for the Philippines. Okay, there you go. The OECD is working with ASEAN countries to foster development of competition policy and more pro-competitive regulation. Alright, let's now go to the OPEC. Okay, OPEC is the organization of the petroleum exporting countries. So this is their website. Okay, it was formed because member countries wanted to increase the price of oil, which in the past had a relatively low price and had failed in keeping up with inflation. It was originally comprised of Saudi Arabia, Iraq, Kuwait, Iran, and Venezuela. So this is a permanent intergovernmental organization of oil exporting developing nations that coordinates and unifies the petroleum policies of its member countries. Okay, as you can see here, if you read, okay, OPEC was founded on September 14, 1960. So the result of a meeting that took place in the Iraqi capital of Baghdad, attended by the 5 founder members of the organization. Okay, these are the countries I've mentioned earlier. Okay, so currently the organization comprises 15 member countries, namely Algeria, Angola, Congo, Ecuador, Equatorial Guinea, Gabon, Iran, Iraq, Kuwait, Libya, Nigeria, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, and Venezuela. Okay, let's go to the European Union. Okay, so I think you're very familiar with this one. So here are the principles and values of EU, aims and values promoting peace and security and respecting fundamental rights and freedoms, okay, are just some of the European Union's aims and values. Okay, so let's try to see here. Okay, so here you can just visit their website, European Union, if you want to study or learn more about it. So we can see here news and events. Okay, priorities and actions. Okay, there you go. So the countries, let's see their history of EU. Okay, there you go, pioneers. Okay, and timeline, of course, 1945 up until today, of course. There you go. Right, so COVID-19 and the road to recovery. How the European Union has developed in 2000, since 2020, responding to the COVID-19 pandemic while putting Europe on the road to economic recovery and fighting climate change. Okay, lastly, let's have the NAFTA. Okay, North American Free Trade Agreement. Okay, just a walkthrough. There you go. So it was enacted in 1994 and created a free trade zone for Mexico, Canada, and the United States. Okay, so rules of origin. Okay, there you go. Alright, so now let's go back to our presentation, and let's talk about the history of global market integration. History of global market integration. So people only produce for their families prior to the rise of the modern economy. In today's economy, different sectors collaborate to produce, distribute, and exchange goods and services. Okay, now let's begin talking about the agricultural revolution. So this is the first significant economic shift. So this was the era when people discovered how to domesticate plants and animals. So farming enabled societies to create surpluses, which led to significant development, such as permanent settlements, trade networks, and population growth. Okay, so for the Industrial Revolution, second significant shift, and steam engines, manufacturing, and production were all introduced during this time period. So there were challenges, of course. Capitalism and socialism existed during this period. Capitalism, as you know, is a system in which all natural resources and means of production are privately owned, with profit maximization and competition serving as the primary drivers of efficiency. So these have somehow led to inequalities in the economy. On the other hand, socialism pertains to collective ownership. Property is owned by the government in socialism and is distributed to all citizens, not just those who can afford it. Another one is the information revolution. So beyond the industrial revolution, the current economic, social, and technological trends are referred to as the information revolution. So its distinguishing feature is the increasing economic, social, and technological role of information. Information revolution, according to some scholar, was not the result of information-related activities. They existed in some form or another in all human societies and eventually evolved into institutions. Okay, so now let's go to the attributes of global corporations. So, international regulatory organizations such as the ones we discussed earlier, WTO, and transnational trade agreements such as NAFTA have both created and supported an increase in international trade. So there isn't a single country that is completely self-sufficient, and all rely on international trade to some extent for their own prosperity. Corporations, as you know, are defined as organizations that exist as legal entities and have liabilities that are separate from its members. Therefore, multinational corporations or transnational corporations or companies that extend beyond the borders of one country, also called as the global corporations. They cross national borders on purpose to take advantage of opportunities in other countries to manufacture, distribute, market, and sell their products. They frequently locate their factories in countries that can provide the cheapest labor in order to save money on product manufacturing costs. So, of course, they will face difficulties. For example, trades promote corporations' self interested agendas, granting them autonomy. So, they also have political clout and allow workers to be exploited. Of course, there are some advantages to global corporations. It entails better resource allocation, lower product prices, more job opportunities, and higher product outputs. Okay, so that's the end of our discussion. Thank you.